Trapping plays a very important role in modern-day wildlife management. Professional wildlife biologists monitor fur-bearer populations to maintain a healthy and sustainable harvest of this important, renewable natural resource. Trapping provides recreation and income for licensed trappers across this country. Hoosier Trapper Outdoors is brought to you by Hoosier Trapper Supply. J3 Outdoors, manufacturer of the Hags Bracket and Body Trap Spring Clip. Leatherwood Creek Trapping Scents. Weeby Knives and Fur Handling Tools. HTS Productions. Hoosier Trapper Deer Scents. And Leatherwood Wildlife Art.
All right, thanks for joining us for this episode 10 of Hoosier Trapper Outdoors. We're back on our semi-live trapping. This is stuff that we just filmed in the past couple weeks. This will be check day 3 on the semi-live Trapline. And we'll continue with that for at least the next 3 episodes. We might have 4. I can't remember how that's going to play out. But anyways, hope you enjoy that. We've had a lot of good comments on that. And if any of you want to make a comment or you got questions or whatever, you can hit us right there on YouTube. And we'll try to answer them right there on the spot. And then we'll also use them in our question and answer. So I want to thank our sponsors, J3 Outdoors, makers of the Hags Bracket and the Body Trap Spring Clips. And also a great product and a product that we use, and the same with Weeby Knives. Here again, great product, great Christmas gift item, and also a product that we use as well. So something both sponsors, we believe in the products that they have. I want to thank everybody for the orders that they've placed. Like I've said, that's what keeps all this going. You know, that's what supports the show, and we appreciate your support. So if you haven't checked out our website, you might check out our new website. It's a lot easier to use. Got a lot of product on there, very user friendly. And but if you don't want to use the website, there's nothing wrong with giving us a call. We'll be glad to take your order over the phone. It just has to be during business hours, so you know when we're here. But check out the website too. There's a number of Christmas ideas on there for the trapper or hunter in your life, and several. Or just plain general trapping equipment. I know when I was a kid, I loved getting trapping equipment for Christmas. So, anyways, that is on there. So, with all that said, I think you'll enjoy the show, and we'll continue to bring you the semi-live Trapline footage.
What's up with these nicer coyotes around here?
I'm not sure. I mean, it ain't a Western, but it sure is nice for Indiana, so we'll take it. All right, check day 3. We didn't add any sets yesterday. We didn't add any sets yesterday because we had to get to work. But so today's Sunday, November 11th. We're going to try to add a couple more locations today, but. Check day 3. We've got one set over there that was got a bit of a catch circle, something haven't examined it yet, but nothing in the trap. So we'll see what's up with that. And Justin connected with this coyote here. Awesome.
Yep. Take care of him and get a remake. Make sure we got good top dog down in the hole. So.
All right. We are on fire. Check day 3, only 5 locations. Pretty good feeling.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
And the funny thing is, Justin's nailing them. I mean, he's on fire. I mean,
that's just coincidence. I learned from the legend himself, so.
This is the first poor quality coyote, really. This one's not a good coyote, but
yeah, you can tell. Real kind of thin. You can tell he's
yeah,
thin.
it's just not a good coyote. So,
but,
and not a talker either.
Yeah, this set we showed it earlier. Big old dirt hole. First visit. Over here is where we caught a coyote. Then the next day we caught the red. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
So this location is reproduced all 3 days in a row.
Yes. And that's what it did last year. We were just on fire on this lane.
We caught 5 coyotes here in 6 days, I think it was, or something like that.
Yeah, and we only had 2 sets here. This year we were like, we need to pit 4 at this intersection.
Yeah, which.
So, but yeah, like you were describing, just that highway just fences everything in. Along with this, it's just a great natural.
Perfect scenario. Yeah, as far as travelway location.
It just makes sense when you look at it on a map. So we're gonna take care of him and remake it. Never know. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm still kind of just in awe. All right, check day 3. Caught the 2 coyotes. I'm going to take a quick minute here and just show you the difference in these coyotes. And they were all caught within 5 miles of each other. We got one nice white belly, pale back, pretty decent coyote. Probably would bring in the coyote market that we have today, it's going to bring pretty good money. And then we've got this real brown, harsh colored coyote here. Belly's got some white on the upper, but overall just very poor quality coyote. That's probably those one that's going to bring $3 or $4. So it might bring a little more than that, but it's going to be under 10 by going by last year's prices. So if you're selective on what you skin, that one will get skinned. But just to give you an idea of the genetic background on these coyotes and how much variation we have in the Midwest coyote. Clearly we don't have something like a Montana quality coyote, but if we can lean more towards this pale white belly one here, then we've got something, and we got a very good, valuable natural resource in terms of the fur market. So anyways, we're going to set a couple more spots up. We're done checking. We've got this corner here. There's actually pretty good sized woods for this part of the country over here, and then it stretches along here, and there's actually in that tree line right there's a pretty good drainage ditch. I don't know if there's water in it now or not. Give you an idea, years ago I caught a mink in there, so a lot of times it does have water in it. Yeah, it probably does right now. But anyways, we're going to set this corner up here. Here in this, a lot of us do this semi-urban agricultural trapping, and so we got to be a little careful where we set, keep stuff out of view of the public. But we're going to set this corner up here. It's kind of in the shadows right now, but it would be tough to see a coyote in there. Got one bouncing around or whatever, so you might have to be specifically looking for it. Anyways, we're going to set that up, set up a couple more locations, and call it a day. But we'll show you the sets once we get them made.
Hags Trapping Products by J3 Outdoors, the most versatile and efficient trapping devices on the market.
Got the Hags brackets on here. We just set this trap in one of the grooves, and it just sits right under there on the bottom slot, and then the water's just directly over the trap. All right, trap's missing. We'll see if we got anything. Hags bracket with the carrot. Can't beat that.
Hoosier Trapper Deer Sense. Success speaks for itself.
Okay, like I said, I ended up setting one in here right in this corner, and just kind of a traditional dirt hole. You know what? There's nothing wrong with a dirt hole set. If you guys want to get fancy and do some other stuff, which is great. It's great in the mix of things. But If it ain't broken, don't fix it. So, anyways, so got a traditional dirt hole. Justin is down there on that point right there, and when he gets up here, we'll find out what kind of set he put in. All right, hey, what kind of set did you put in?
Just did a dirt hole, sheep's wool and top dog down in the hole, coyote urine. And this one on a lure, we had Vixen Elixir, and it's a Predator magnet. A lot of the remakes too I've been using Predator magnet almost on every remake I've done. Just one you don't hear us talk about as much. It's kind of under the radar, but it's a great lure. So, but we'll see what happens in this corner.
Yep.
I got high hopes.
Yep, it's a good looking spot.
It connected last year, caught one on the backside of this brush pile, and I was only in here a few days, so it's produced before, it can produce again.
Yep. All right, here's the second spot we're setting up. Got the edge of the woods here. Got an unpicked bean field. Justin's putting a dirt hole set in here.
Yep.
Got a
Top dog, coyote urine, pinch of sheep's wool, then a black golden Vixen Elixir for the lures.
yeah. We've got a grass 2-track lane coming in between the two fields. The truck's sitting on, and then we've got this huge wide expanse of crop field here. Just typical Indiana farm country. And then this woods goes on obviously that way, and then I put a dirt hole set in here. This ground right here has actually got a northern exposure, so it is solid rock concrete hard.
Yeah.
And you can see how when I actually digging the trap bed, I pulled that piece of frozen dirt out of there, and I'm actually using that behind the hole kind of as a curiosity attractant. It'll stand out for sure. And because of that, and the ground as hard as it is, I've got some hard edges there, which I don't really have a problem with that, but it'll actually help guide the coyote to where he needs to put his foot. So that one I put, just because that ground is so cold, I put some long distance there and a little bit of liquid beaver castor, and of course top dog bait and some coyote urine. So, and I'll tell you, it's darn cold, and the coyote urine that we're using is gelling up a little bit, or slushing up a little bit, not gelling up, but getting a little slushy. So we're gonna have to stick some glycerin in there, and
Yeah.
so keep it working so that you can pour it, and it'll keep it from freezing up once it's on the ground. Even though it probably still got a smell to it, it would be definitely better if it's not freezing. So important for this type of weather. This is pretty cool weather for this time of year. Like I said, today's November 11th, our third check day, and this is our second spot that we've added today. So we're going to try to get at least one more spot added today, and then
See what happens
yeah,
tomorrow.
see what happens tomorrow.
We'll only have a few days here. These sets will have to be pulled pretty much when gun season comes in with the deer hunters.
Which is today's Sunday, which comes in next Saturday. So
yeah,
we'll have to pull Friday.
we got plenty of time to connect, get in here, take the cream, and get out and move on.
Yep. It used to be years ago you didn't have to worry about deer season and deer hunters, particularly up in this country, but
Yeah.
over the years the deer population's become quite large, like it has in most states, and you
Just one of the
got to
things you gotta
work
deal
around the
with.
deer hunters. So anyway, all right, this is our third setup for today, third new location. This is a real small piece of property, just a 5-acre tract, so we're pretty limited where we can set. We've got a grass erosion control area through here, and those are obviously coyotes are going to travel that. And then we have a where the combine went through the grass here, kind of opened it up a little bit. So Justin and I've got dirt hole sets basically just right on both sides of that. So that's about the best we can do with this property. Realistically, we'd probably rather be back there on that corner, you know, where the woods and that other brushy wooded fence row goes through, but that's off the property, so we don't have permission back there. So we're going to make the best of it, what we got here, and we'll see what happens. So, but this is a ways away from where we've been, so we're definitely in a different coyote home range here. So we'll see how it goes.
This is none of us have trapped this location. A friend of ours, they just bought this piece of property, so this is a brand new spot. We'll see how it produces. I'm hoping me and Charlie can double right here. We need a double.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be awesome. So, end of check day 3. Set up three new locations, and look forward to tomorrow.
I've been a professional trapper for over 40 years, and in that time, I've skinned literally thousands of animals. I've learned that it doesn't matter how cool a knife looks on your hip. What really matters is sharpness and reliability. And that's why I created the Weeby Wicked Sharp line of replacement blade knives. These are knives that will quickly skin your critters without skinning your wallet. Visit WeebyKnives.com to get the new Monarch folding knife with 3 replacement blades for just $19.95. Weeby Knives, Wicked Sharp.
Leatherwood Trapping Sense. Success speaks for itself.
All right, Charlie thought this would be a pretty cool idea to kind of show people how we go about the tanning process. We have a little whitetail here. Just came in, shot yesterday's deer season. Went ahead and skinned him out.
This has been case skinned just like you do for fur animals. The that way we don't have to sew the back of the neck up. And the reason, what prompted this is we've actually had some questions about tanning, and so what we're doing is not relative to what a lot of people can do at home. You can if you want to make the investment in the equipment, but we're just going to show you, briefly our process and what we're doing. So, like Justin said, you just skin this thing out, and so we're going to scrape it, rough scrape it here. Get the
You gotta get these big chunks of meat, fat, or any residue that might be on here. Deer are usually pretty easy to work with. I'm just using the push side on this Weeby here, and it just kind of peels right off. And it's pretty surprising how much pressure you can really put on these, as long as they're not nicked up and have a bunch of junk in the fur where you could hit a burr or something like that and pop a hole. You don't really have to worry about it. So you can,
just like scraping a coon, you can put a lot of pressure on there as long as you got a good clean skin with no bumps in it. So
just crank that off there.
These Weebies are nice knives. They're square handles, so your hands aren't rolling on a round handle. The back edge is nice and sharp if you need it, which you will for beaver and coon for sure. And
here's another little tip too, is just put a piece of cloth there. Keep that hide from sliding away from me. I'm putting pressure and it wants to slide. That kind of grips it. You don't want to go anywhere, and then it comes off a lot easier.
so this is kind of the question and answer segment on the show, because we've had other questions about this too. Obviously home tanning, at this point you're probably going to want to scrape it and then probably actually go through a salt down process. And generally, if you're just tanning the stuff at home yourself, you don't have to put it on a stretcher. Just go ahead and go to the salt down, leave your skin flat like this, or just flat on the floor or whatever for the salt down. Even the case skin stuff, as long as you get it well salted, you're fine. With the method that we use, we don't have to go through that.
Yeah, we're going for a wet tan result.
Right. So we're just not taking it. Of course, we'll get to that, but we're just not taking it to the step where it's going to be tumbled and dried. But everything else that we're doing is what you would do as if you were going to do a dried skin hanging on the wall.
Looks pretty decent there. A little bit under the neck right here I should probably get. It's going to go in the tanner for 2 different 4-hour sessions minimum. That second session, we like to leave it a little longer, make sure it gets a real nice good tan. That's it for that.
That little bit of residue membrane on there, not a big issue. We'll actually shave that off with the shaving machine once we go through the tan one time. So this is where we're at right now. So it's been rough scraped, and we'll proceed to the next step.
Ready to go in the tanner. Got our hide here. Roughly 8 quarts for about 3/4 of a bag of tan for deer, whitetail.
This is what they call the pressurized tanning tanks. They're, you can buy them from Taxidermy Art Supply, and you can buy the tan from them as well.
I'm just mixing water back and forth to help kind of break that down and dissolve it. In fact, the first bucket of water I put in was warm water to help kind of break that down. Then we give it a shot of Kimmel. It's a degreaser and a relaxer. And you can really tell, say if we were doing a coon or a big greasy bear or something right now, you can definitely tell a difference when you add this stuff next time around. Not really too necessary for the deer on the most part, but every bit helps. Then we'll give it a couple shots of the Protex, which is a bug proofer. Probably more important to do that on the second time around on the tan, but we will go ahead and do it twice just in case. And that works well too. Just kind of stir it around, get it mixed up. Normally we pre-wash these, but this deer here is in great shape. They're, you know, you get animals that come in here soaked in blood and blood stained and things like that. We kind of cleaned that up beforehand, but this deer was in pretty good shape. Skin side out, hair in. We're just going to close the lid up on it and pressurize this tank about 30 to 40 pounds of pressure and let it roll for about 4 hours. Pull it out, shave it, throw it back in there again for another 4, and you're ready to go.
We actually have 2 of these tanks. We have one that's much larger, so if we're doing multiple skins, we've actually tanned an entire life-size American bison in one of those. We had to cut it into 6 pieces, which is actually easier anyways. And did it, and then so we got all 4 legs, the main part of the body, and then the shoulder mount part, and then we sewed it all back together. But it went through that tanner right there. Then if we're just doing a single skin or one whitetail cake or whatever, the one that Justin's working on right now, it works just fine. It's important to have that liquid in there because it causes the skin to float, and that's what, when that's tumbling in there, then that's the important part of the how that tan gets evenly distributed to the skin and where allow the skin to soak up the tan. Alright, so after it comes out of the tan, we go to the shaving machine. And you can see Justin's taking that, shaving that right off of there. And that's thinning the skin, makes it more pliable. And for us, for taxidermy purposes, it makes it where it doesn't shrink near as much when it's on the form as it's drying. So that's really important for taxidermy work. But all tanneries do this shaving. And this is the part that you can't really duplicate at home. You know, in a home tanning process. So, you know, you got to do the best you can if you're doing home tanning. But, all commercial tanneries go through this process here, which is really very important. So, basically, he's going to do the entire skin, and that's going to get that thinned out, and then it's going to go back into the tanner for another roughly 4 or 5 hours. And then we'll take it out and oil it. But we'll show you that too when we get to that point. But you can see what he's doing. He's just going to go ahead and do the rest of the skin. Alright, Justin got done shaving the whitetail, and he actually put it back in the big tanner this time because we were using the little tanner while he was shaving it. Anyways, so we're going to let the air out of it and get it opened up. Alright, so air's out. We're going to get the door open here. Skin comes out. One thing I don't know if it got mentioned or not. All the lips, eyes, and ears have all been turned.
Nice and white for a second time through. We'll actually shave it again one more time before it gets stretched on a form. So, but this looks good so far.
And
Drip dry.
then we've got an oil here that we get from a taxidermy supply place. It's like a furrier's oil, and it's actually going to get rubbed into the skin. We heat it in the microwave so that it's pretty warm to the touch, and it penetrates the skin a lot better that way. So
Yeah, we just do the face like that. I like to dip the ear in there and use it like a paintbrush.
and this oil right here basically just helps that skin last over time. And the head is the most critical area. And then we're going to actually pull that skin back hair side out, and then it's going to go in the freezer and wait for wait for its turn to be mounted. So, but that's kind of the tanning process that we go through. It's very similar to a big commercial type tannery. We're not taking it to another step where we're drumming it to dry it out, and we're not running it through a staking machine or anything like that. But this will give you an idea, kind of a tanning process that we do here. And the tan is basically the foundation for a mount to last for the rest of your life. That's, there was a time that a lot of taxidermists used dry preservative, which was essentially just borax, rub it on the skin and put it on the form, and that was the mount. Well, those are the mounts that you see a lot of times that are dried, and the skin's pulling away from the lip line, pulling away from the eyes, up around
drumming issues.
Yeah, antler burrs, and then also pulling the seam apart in the back. And that's always an issue that taxidermists fight anyways, but with that dry preservative, which technically was not a tan, we're actually taking the skin and turn it into leather. The dry preservative just acts as a preservative and a kind of a bud proofer, so it's not really a tan. Anyways, fortunately, most taxidermists have gotten away from that, and a lot of them are doing what we're doing, and then some of them use like a liquid tan. But I feel this is the best option for a mount to last a long time. So, anyways, hope you enjoyed that little bonus footage here. It's something that we typically don't put on the
different.
show. Yeah, something different. All right. For this product highlight, we're obviously in the Christmas season, so this is a perfect Christmas gift, along with several others that we've got, with shirts and hats and mugs and that kind of thing. But this is a great gift for the guy or gal that is thinking about trapping. I'm not really sure, knowing where to start. It can be a little overwhelming, and they're not sure if it's something that they're going to like well enough to pursue in the future. So we've got some coyote trapping kits. We were going to call them predator trapping kits, coyote trapping kits. So they really would be adequate for coyotes and bobcats and foxes too. So we've got what we call our little starter kit right here. It's got everything that you need to go out and get started. It comes with 3 traps. Got the trap prep, stakes, the tool to make your sets, the bait lure and urine sifter, and then it also has an instructional DVD which will walk you through start to finish on how to do this stuff, go out and catch critters. Then we've got another one we call our special package number 1, and it is based on 6 traps. Lure quantities are a little greater, and then it's got the product to go along with the 6 traps, and of course it has the instructional DVD. And we have literally had people go out, get the kit, prepare the traps, set traps the same day or the next day, and catch coyotes the following day. Now that's probably the exception, but we have had people literally go out and do that, and they had never trapped before. And then we have another kit, package number 2, exact same product, except it's beefed up in quantities. And this kit is based on 12 traps. So you got kind of 3 options. Everybody wants to go out and catch coyotes, bobcats, that kind of thing. And these 3 kits will cover those animals and get you started. And they all come with the instructional DVD, which will walk you through literally from start to finish. To starting point, what to do with your equipment to get you the end result of catching coyotes. So, great Christmas idea. All right, question and answer. This one we'll do on the inside of the cabin, since we always do our openings on the outside of the cabin. If and this question has been asked in the past. It's an important question and certainly needs is good to answer it again. And the question was, keep having misses, flipped off traps, issues with the trap itself, the mechanics of things. So generally and almost always there's 3 answers to that. Everything's working. The attractant's working, your bait, lure, urine, combination or thereof. The location's working. So the only thing that's not working is we're not sealing the deal with the trap. So almost always the issue with the trap is pan tension on the trap. So the trap pan is floppy or too loose. So the first thing I recommend is tightening that pan up so that at minimum, when the trap is not set, if you've got it tightened up, it should stay where you put it. That's the minimum. If you're into weighing the tension of the pan, it should be, for coyotes, generally in the 2.5 to 3 pound range. You can even go clear up to 4 pounds. The higher the tension you put on there, the less likely you'll have the smaller animals get caught in the trap. So it'll get you more to exclusive coyote catch. So that's probably the number one issue that new trappers have, or some trappers have, with those flipped off traps or misses. The other one is just bedding the trap. Make sure the trap is solid. And I think all of us fight this to a certain degree, particularly depending on ground conditions. If the ground's frozen, that kind of thing, it's more difficult to bed the trap. You just got to do the best you can. But you don't want to you don't want that trap wobbly. So in other words, if they step on the jaw of the trap before they step on the pan of the trap, you want that trap solid so that it's not moving. So that's normally another issue that can cause traps being flipped off or toe catches or that kind of thing. So the toe catches probably are more with the tension of the pan. Another issue is just too much cover on top of the trap. And it depends on the trap, but generally, you want to try to keep the cover on the trap at a bare minimum. You want to make sure that the trap is concealed, but you don't want so much cover on the trap that you're actually hampering the functionality of the trap. You got to remember, for every, and I don't recommend a 1/2 inch, but for every 1/2 inch of cover you put on top of the trap, and I don't think you should put that much on, but for instance, you are actually removing a 1/2 inch of jaw spread. So not only functionality of the trap is better if the covering on the trap is fairly light, but it also you're maintaining your jaw spread of the trap, which on most traps we're in the 6 inch range anyways. I hope that helps, and I hope that helps. And like I said, I've addressed this before, but it's certainly important enough to address it again, and it is something that we certainly get a question about fairly frequently. So
Thanks for watching the show, guys. Just want to let you know that we have the new catalog available. Pretty sharp looking cover there with Charlie working a muskrat hut. You can get this by calling the shop here at any time. Just give us your home address and we'll be glad to send you one. Or you can visit us at HoosierTrapperSupply.com and sign up that way, request one. It's real easy. It's on the home page. It's a brand new website. It's pretty sharp. And you can also sign up for our email newsletter, which informs you on show dates when they're coming out and product highlights and shows or specials that we may have going on at the time. Occasionally a blog by Charlie. So just a little bit of insight of what's going on here at Hoosier Trapper will be in those newsletters. One thing I wanted to add too is the Fur Shed series is still out there, so don't forget about that. We send them out randomly. There's no dates available. Anytime we think there's a tip or something useful that could help someone out in the field or in their shed, we'll go ahead and throw it out there for you. And it's real clean cut, straight to the point. Anything from trap modification to fur grading or whatnot, just anything that's done in the shed, not necessarily done in the field. Those tips can really be helpful, so be on the lookout for those. And go ahead and follow us too on all the social media sites. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. The list goes on. Just find us on there and
And we'd love to hear from you. Comments, like post, all the good stuff. So we'll see you next time.
Join us on December 21st for the next episode of Who's Your Trapper Outdoors.